You can have a breakthrough if I can help you in this series to get stronger. If this can be maybe your first step, or maybe you've taken 6 steps and then you've fallen back 6 steps. This could be potentially the series that you need to listen to help you break through to your next highest level. The only way to improve, to get better, to get stronger is to Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show will encourage, challenge, maybe even provoke you to step outside of your comfort zone and take more action to better improve yourself and your health. I'm your host, Mark Avens, in this crazy upside down world that keeps pushing a narrative for people to become softer and weaker, sicker and unhealthier, more dependent than ever before. The goal and intent of my show is to help you navigate through it so that you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Now, we are in a series, and it's a really important series, especially if you're getting on in your years, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you know that your body is starting to fall apart, or maybe it's fallen apart and you just don't know how to kind of pick it back up. You don't even know where to start. Or maybe you've heard different things from different people and you have no idea. You know you need to get stronger, but you're a beginner, or maybe you just haven't felt strong your entire life, or maybe you used to be strong and you're trying to gain back strength and you're realizing that your workouts back when you were in high school or even in college are just not going to be cutting it for you this time. The diet you used didn't get the weight off like it did before. And you're realizing, man, time is going by fast and I'm just getting older and weaker and softer. Well, I'm going to help you today. This is part 3 in an episode series that we're doing called The Beginner's Guide to Strength Training and Getting Stronger. First episode, we talked about the benefits of strength training. I broke down a few of the key benefits for you and the reason why you need to be focusing on strength training when it comes to your exercise. Number 2, misconceptions. There's lots of misconceptions, and there's some common ones, and I went over those briefly, and that was in part 2, episode 2. Number 3, today we're actually going to be talking a little bit more practical, giving you kind of some basics on getting started. So this is great because you don't have to hire a trainer. You don't have to try to navigate through the 47 million different people's opinions and why. You're probably thinking to yourself, if you're listening and maybe curious, why should I listen to you? I'm not here to brag or boast about my experience, and you just need to know that if I've been in this for 30 years, for almost 3 decades, my first personal training client was in 95, which actually my training began actually in the early 90s. And that was more from my formal education in physical therapy, where I learned exercise science and all that stuff. Not here to share about that. All you need to know is in any profession, any career, do you think if the person wasn't any good at what they did, they'd still be doing it after 30 years? That's all you need to know. And you're like, maybe you're just crazy, and maybe you just do this for your own personal benefit. Well, I do for my own personal benefit, but I also know that one of the most fulfilling things over the course of my life, besides my relationship with Jesus and my faith and my family, has been helping people like you get unstuck, become their best, their absolute best physically. And I know a lot of times it trickles into an emotional, a spiritual kind of breakthrough. So if you can have a breakthrough, if I can help you in this series to get stronger, if this can be maybe your first step, or maybe you've taken 6 steps and then you've fallen back 6 steps, this could be potentially the series that you need to listen to help you break through to your next highest level. The only way to improve, to get better, to get stronger is to look at people that are already doing in any line of success that you want to become, financially more success, relationally, spiritually. The wisdom has taught me over the years that it really pays to pay attention to those who've already done it, who are doing it, who have actually done it and have a track record of success. So for today, we're going to talk about getting started. What does that look like for you to get started getting stronger? A strength training. How do you do it? Well, kind of talked about the misconceptions, and I talked and shared with you about you don't need to have a gym membership. You don't need to do weights. But what would be if you were saying, Mark, okay, break it down, dude. Tell me, like, how can I just get started doing some strength training? Well, really the easiest and simplest way is to start doing things that you know you need to do regardless if you're strength training or not. Getting up from a chair, standing up from a chair, right? Getting down, maybe getting down on the ground to bend and tie your shoes, things that are going to get you moving. getting in and out of a bed, right? Now, I'm not saying that's going to be your workout routine, but things that can be more, if you will, functional in through your daily life, maybe picking up some groceries and bringing them in, those types of things. So you don't have to be a trainer or an exercise specialist to know like your body, for the most part, if you're functioning in life, maybe you're not doing it as well as you know you potentially could be if you're stronger. You want to start to do things. The best way, easiest to start with a simple program. And I'm going to break it down. There's really like only 5 main movements that you really need and you can get stronger with. There's a push, a pull, right? There's a hinge, a bending forward and coming back up, a squatting down, like squatting down to get something and coming back up, those kind of movements. You got a curling movement and a push down movement. So like your bicep curls and you push, you think of things like that. I just wanted to get you kind of stimulated before this. But if I were to give somebody without any knowledge of where they're at, where can I start? Well, a simple, basic, foundational program. I would say before you even do that, understand if you have injuries, limitations, make sure your doctor, disclosure is make sure that you have the clearance from your doctor. The problem, unfortunately, and I say say this loosely, most doctors aren't fit. I've been around plenty. My wife been in the medical field as a nurse practitioner for years and years and years. And I would say more than 70-80% of them don't understand fitness. They don't understand strength training. They didn't go to school for that. They learn how to do surgeries and they learn how to do treatment care and they know how to prescribe medicine and diagnose. And that's about it. So with that, as long as you don't have any major underlying, like if you had a broken hip, if you had hip surgery or if you had, a herniated disc or you had a shoulder replacement, then of course you're going to need to probably get a little bit more of a customized program. But let's just say if you're a beginner and everything's good and, clean bill of health aside from you feeling weak and being weak and you want to get stronger, what I would do is just really a basic workout routine every other day. Give yourself a day to recover. So let's just put it out there: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you're feeling spunky and you're feeling energized, to maybe add one extra on the weekend. But in the beginning, 3 days a week is plenty. Doing some body weight training, getting started. So let's just think body weight. Push-ups. Okay, I can't do a push-up. Do it on an incline. Do it off your staircase. Do it off your counter. Heck, do it from your wall if you're really like ground zero. So push-ups, try to do 5 or 10. Again, this is very, very basic, very, very foundational. Squats. You can try doing some squats. Get down, use a chair, use a bench, do a few sets of squats, 5 to 10 reps. Ideally, there's not any like magic golden formula for the amount of reps. Bottom line is what you're trying to do with a basic, short, simple program is to challenge your body in a way you don't usually do it through the day. So let's pick a few exercises. Push-ups are going to be 1. Squats are going to be 2. Plank. A plank is like a push-up position. What's the difference between a plank and a push-up? The push-up is a similar position. Your hands are on the ground and you go down and you lower your body. Most people, and still to this day, know what a push-up is. A plank is essentially holding that position, whether you're using your hands or your forearms, and you can look it up. Good news is Google, you can search this stuff up. Plank is great because it's going to give you some strength training benefits. It's going to help develop your core strength. It's going to give you some good stabilization through all your joints. It's weight-bearing exercise. It's good for your bones. And that's one. Try to hold it. Now, that's more of an isometric or a holding type exercise. So we're talking maybe 20, 30 seconds. If you can hold it for a minute, kind of like the gold standard. If you can hold it for 2 minutes, then you're getting somewhere on that. So your goal could be to get to 2 minutes. With the push-ups, if you can do up to 10, 20 push-ups, maybe even 25 push-ups, same with squats, that would be a good starting place. And then another exercise, if you're going to get down on the ground, is doing some bridges, glute bridges, where you're on your back and your knees are bent and you're just lifting your butt up, kind of pressing your hips up off of the ground. And that's going to stimulate those big glute muscles. Maybe you have weak, flat glute muscles. Maybe you have a tiny butt. But as far as strength, it's going to be very, very valuable. It's a hip movement. I mentioned about bending forward earlier. and that's going to be helpful for that. Another very, very straightforward exercise you can do, it's going to be helpful, is strengthening your lower body. Your lower body, meaning like your ankle and calves, and doing some calf raises. Very straightforward, very basic. You can literally just stand on a flat surface and just stand up and go up off of your heels and then back down. You can go on an elevated surface and do them that way as well if you'd like. In gyms, they have machines that add weight. All these exercises I'm talking to you about actually have weight in them. Very basic. Start short, simple. Some push-ups, some squats, some planks, and then some calf raises, glute bridges. Very, very basic, very, very simple. That should be very helpful for you. Now, if you're going to transition, let's just say, Mark, I have a gym membership and I want to actually get started in the gym and I want to start doing some strength training. So in most gyms today, we're talking like your big box gyms, and I'll just rattle some off. Your Crunches, although probably stay away from Planet Fitness. Your LA Fitness, there's lots of them, right? Your corporate, your ones that are $10, $15, $20 a month, those type of gyms. So most of those have sections. They have a cardio area, they have a weight area, they have like maybe a section for classes, and then they have what I like. A lot of these gyms realize that people need express, they need quick, they need get in, get out. I want to do some strength training. They have usually machines. I know Crunch, back where we used to live, I think even the gym here, one of the gyms that we go to, has that kind of like circuit format where you're basically getting benefits. A similar exercise talked to you as far as with body weight, doing something at home with push-ups and things. They have actually a routine and a trainer coach. It's fairly easy just to show you how to set the machine and adjust the weights and stuff. I would definitely get some help with that. But they'll usually have 6 to 8 to 10 maybe different exercises. You take a 30-minute, you go through a circuit. I believe Planet Fitness has something like that, and Crunch, LA Fitness. I believe all of them have these, and they usually say this one is for push and this one is for pull. And that's something that could be an easy place to start. Now, while you're doing that, choosing the right amount of weight, that's the question now. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Pin goes to 300 pounds. How am I supposed to pick? I had told you and shared this earlier on, this principle about putting a demand on your muscle. You're not going to get stronger if you don't challenge your muscle to want to get stronger. So let me say that again. You're not going to get stronger from strength training if you're not putting a demand on the muscle when you work out. That's going to be hard to get stronger. And that's one of the best benefits about getting stronger in strength training, is that you're going to feel so rewarded by the work that you do to get the results you want, because you hear what they say, right? You'll never get the results that you want from the work you weren't willing to do. And that work in strength training means you got to put some weight on the machine. So if you could do, and this just translates in layman's terms, if you can push 10 or 12, 15 reps, and you can do 2 or 3 sets, like meaning reps is each repetition, and sets is how many. You say you do a repetition of 10 to 12, and then you do a set. That's one set. And then you take a break, and then you do another set. If you could do 3 or 4 sets and that weight is okay, you feel like you're pushing it, but not, you're going through the motions and your muscles never going to benefit. You need, what I like to kind of say as a general rule, if you're doing 2 or 3 sets, the third set, if you're not really struggling to push that weight or pull that weight or push down that weight or push those legs, and you're not actually pushing, you're not putting enough weight or not enough resistance. And this is now specific for weight machines and free weights, dumbbells, all those types of things. But we're talking right now, because I talked to you about like this, these circuits. They have these circuit machines. That would be another great place to start. I wouldn't go dabbling into the free weight area and the dumbbell area, thinking that you'll be able to do what you did maybe back when you learn in tennis or in soccer or in football, or if you played sports, you're on track and they showed you how to do some of the weight. I wouldn't try to jump back into that, especially if you've been away from it for a long time. Maybe just start there. Doesn't mean you have to stay there, but it could be a good starting place. They're pretty user friendly. The only thing I don't like about a lot of the machines and the circuit equipment is you're sitting, and I don't really feel, I mean, I sit for certain exercises, but I don't sit very much throughout the day unless I'm recording a show like this podcast. I try to get out and about. I already got my workout in. It's up at 4:30. I'm a quiet time, walk the dog, and I got a lot in active wise. So if you tend to be a desk job type of person, or you have a sedentary lifestyle, you probably want to do some more than just stepping on the machines. We're focused right now on strength training, and that's going to be very beneficial, is using those machines that they have for like circuit training. Now, if you were to get in, and maybe you've done that and you've got in, this is more for beginners, but let's just say you're just kind of strung out, like you just hung up on wanting to do some free weights and dumbbells. What I would do is probably hire a trainer to show you and get you in there. But again, goes back to knowing your trainer actually knows what they're doing. If they just give you a routine that's just kind of a standard cookie cutter thing, then you may want to benefit from working with somebody like me and coaching that actually has experience and knows exactly what people need based on their goals and where they're starting from. And that's mostly what trainers don't know, is they don't know how to adapt and adjust programs to people based on limitations. They're older, they have, aches and pains and some maybe some underlying injuries and limitations that make it hard for an average trainer that doesn't have the knowledge base to know how to adjust and work through a program accordingly. That's why you hire somebody like me. Now, the other thing is in working out. So let's just say let's say it's a 30-minute program where you're doing it at home or at the gym. And I just gave you the basics for beginners. Now, the next thing you need to know is you're not going to just drive to the gym or, put on your workout clothes and just get right to your workout. That would be probably not as beneficial as this. Beginners, you need to learn how to warm up. You need to obviously learn how to focus on form. It's going to be hard to have really good form if you're not warmed up. And when you're not warmed up and your bodies aren't moving properly, then it's going to be hard to whatever exercise you're doing and whatever kind of medium, if you're using free weights or dumbbells or kettlebells or body weight training, if you're not able to move, it's going to be really hard to benefit from the strength training. So the best way to do that is to warm up. Now, there's different warm-ups, and I'm not going to give you a deep dive. That's probably more of another training. There's types of stretching and flexibility and mobility work out there. But what I do and what we teach our clients, I'm literally giving this to you right now. We teach our clients the ones that are able to do it, to foam roll, to do soft tissue work, which is basically getting your muscles prepped, kind of the density of the muscle, kind of like pizza. If you think about pizza, when they make a pizza, now I'm not making you hungry, am I? But when you make pizza, they don't just take the dough and they just push it into a crust. They actually knead the tissue. They kind of soften the tissue. That's really all you're doing with a foam roller. So it's an easy method to use, pretty inexpensive. Most gyms have them nowadays, is to do some foam rolling. You can look up, there's lots of ways to do foam rolling. That's a great tool to kind of get your body prepped. And then also some dynamic type of stretching or flexibility work, which is just a movement based, light movement. Basically where you can even go through some of the exercises slowly. And you think about if you're doing a push or a pull or a push up or a squat or that sort of stuff, you can do things that are going to move those legs. You can do even, you think of the traditional type of stretching where you bring your arm across and you hold it. This is the easiest one to demo. Instead of holding it, because when you hold it for a period of time, you're basically asking it to relax. And well, I don't know about you, but I don't want my muscle to relax before I'm about ready to put some weight on it or actually ask it to move with some resistance. Right? You want to actually get it ready. So just getting your body moving, holding and relaxing, like not holding it, but just pause and relax, getting it across, reaching over, use a bar, use a band, kind of just getting your body moving. Get on elliptical, do a little bit of that for a few minutes just to get some circulation, get the blood flow going to the muscles is going to be very, very helpful. And then of course, with form, it's going to help your form. I have a quick little story for you. It has nothing to do with strength training, but it was a really aha moment for me in my career over the years. I, at one point, worked with a lot of golfers, aspiring tour players and so forth. And of course, with golfers, they want to be able to be consistent, hitting the ball really, really well. They want to actually hit it, as far as they can and as good as they can. And one of the things that actually was a game changer for a lot of clients, old retired golfers that wanted to outdrive their buddies, is just being able to move better before they play. And outside of the strength training, one of the things is making sure they had good form. And what really was awesome about the strength training, and it did actually ripple effect into their golf swing, is when they actually were warmed up and their bodies were moving well before. A lot of golfers in the past 10, 20 years didn't want to strength train because they thought that would ruin their golf game. Now all the golfers in the world actually strength train. They even have their own trainers and coaches and nutritionists in their entourage. If you will, the best golfers in the world are some of the strongest. They are the strongest golfers in the world, hands down. It's not just skill based anymore. So same thing with you. When you want to get stronger, having a focus on form, the way to do that is to make sure you're able to move well before your workout. So that's it. And then, of course, I had already mentioned this, but one of the other things is the rest between, just kind of to listen to your body to see what it responds, how it responds. So by doing it alternating days, and if you want to add in cardio, do it on alternating days. Do Monday, Wednesday, Friday strength training. Regardless of what you do, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Saturday, you do a bike ride or you go for a swim or a walk. Those types of things. You want to get on a machine and do an elliptical or rower, those type of things. That's going to be your best benefit. So I hope this really helped you as far as getting started. This is episode number 3. The next episode, we're going to be talking about like how to advance and change things up. So if you want to know, we're going to go in a little bit more detail what that looks like. I'm going to go a little bit more advanced for beginners, because there's nothing worse for a beginner to get started and then not know where to go from there. If you're doing well, be like, I'm not seeing results, or maybe I don't know if I'm doing this right. I want to help you as well. Again, this is mainly for beginners. We are in a series on how to get yourself stronger through strength training. Hope you like this episode. Let me know if there's something you want to add. You think that maybe this is also something that's helped you as a beginner, or if you're a beginner and you have questions, you're not too sure, can you clarify? Drop those comments down below. And if you like this episode, share it with your friends. And of course, subscribe and hit the like, love, all that good stuff. Take care and have an amazing, blessed day.